Well, good morning, friends. Today is Saturday, December the 14th. Yep, December the 14th. A little bit of everything today. I'm going to talk about retirement. We're going to talk about the parents, and we're going to talk about planning. So it's going to be a little bit of a eclectic video. And I'm going to start off by my own retirement, where we're at with that. So I am, today's December the 14th, like I said, I officially have my last day at work on December 31st. But I am currently on vacation until then, okay? I had about 12 vacation days left to eat up and take. And the way our company is structured, you got to take your vacation or you lose it if you're a salaried employee. So yeah, I have to take my vacation or I'm going to lose it. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm on vacation till December 31st. I return for my last day of work on December 31st and meet with my replacement, make sure that he hasn't got any questions. He's on his own right now, so he has an opportunity to see if there's any questions or anything he needs to know. And I've left the door open with him. If he needs anything or something, he can text me or call me, and I'll try to answer his questions for him. Anyways, I am currently heading over to Oak Ridge, Tennessee, about an hour from my house. I had a little trouble with my cable modem yesterday, and it's pretty old. It's about 6 years old. It's one that I own. I do not have a Comcast cable box. So this is something I'm going to try. I'm going over to their store in Oak Ridge to pick up a new cable modem this morning to see if it fixes my problem. Currently my wife is having DTs because she doesn't have any internet. We don't have cable TV. We just use our tablets to stream off of YouTube and different things, movies and what have you. Yeah, we only have like one TV left in the house, and it rarely gets turned on. Anyways, on the retirement stuff, I did finish up everything I needed to do with my corporate insurance forms and took those over to the Social Security office and got those turned in. Confirmed my entitlement date, which is January the 1st. So for those of you that are applying for Social Security for the first time, remember this: when you apply and you say you want your Social Security to start on a certain date, it's always 30 days later. Okay, so I said I wanted my Social Security to start on January 1st. Well, they told me it's going to be February 1st. Social Security is behind a month. Medicare Part B is ahead of a month. And what that means is when you get your first check from Medicare, Social Security, you're going to have two Medicare Part Bs taken out at the same time. One would be for the first month where they held back, Social Security didn't pay you for a month, but you was on Part B for a month. So just remember, my Part B will start January 1st, and the money for that will come out of the first check along with the next month Part B. So yeah, a little bit of a difference there. And I kind of heard something about that, but I had to confirm that when I was at the Social Security office, and that's what she told me. Anyways, yeah, so we're done with the retirement stuff. We just got to get everything finalized with my job and get out of there. But for all purposes, all intent purposes, I am pretty much finished working. Okay, I'm pretty much retired now, but officially it'd be December 31st. So let's have a quick little update about the parents. Those of you that are subscribers on the channel know what I've been going through with them. So after the last visit, and I did a vlog on that last Sunday, you can go back and watch that if you want to, things have calmed down tremendously. Okay, I guess maybe some of the things I talked to them about got them to thinking just how fortunate they are to be where they're at. Okay, so they have not, I've been over twice this week and visited. They have not mentioned one word about any of it. Okay, And, you know, my philosophy is let a sleeping dog sleep, okay? So anyways, we did talk about some other things, and that's going to lead me into the third part of this video. We did talk about some other things, and basically what we talked, well, they were complaining about their Medicare supplement insurance going up this year. And it did go up significantly for them, but I would say the reason why it did is they both had some major hospital expenses last year. My mom went through several hip replacement surgery problems. She was in and out of rehab for, I don't know, about 2 different times for about 11 weeks or so. Yeah, and there's been a lot of doctor visits and what have you pertaining to that. So I imagine that cost a lot of money, these hip replacement operations and what have you. My dad, he got Merkel cell carcinoma, skin cancer. He had to go through not proton therapy, I don't know what they call it now. I guess it is proton therapy in a sense. He went through therapy, which was very expensive. He had a surgery. Then he had radiation afterwards, not chemo, just radiation. So I imagine all that was very expensive. And also too, we did find out that when he goes in, he has to go every 6 months now to the cancer doctor for a scan. And we found out when we looked at his EOB statements that those scans are costing about $10,000 each. So, you know, they had a lot of medical expenses last year, and I think that's probably why their supplement plan increased last year. They were bitching about that, okay? It was very expensive. In fact, I think their supplement plan for the 2 of them cost them about $800 a month. So we got to talking about that, you know, and I'm trying to get them to realize that, you know, money's not free. And I said, yeah, so you're paying $800 a month. And I was looking at my dad, and I said, and then you pay that for 12 months. How much is that? Well, he says, well, 8 12s is 96. I said, that's $9,600, isn't it? He goes, yes, $9,600. I said, okay, let's just suppose that you are getting, you know, $15,000 a month Social Security check. I said, for a year, not $15,000 a month, $15,000 a year in Social Security benefits. I said, $9,600 of that you've got to put out in medical expenses for your plan, your supplement plan. Well, he kind of looked at me for a minute, thought about that, you know. I said, so there's a lot of expenses as we get older that we don't think about until they actually happen, okay? And just like this part here with their supplement insurance going up, they didn't realize it until it actually happened, you know. And you take that and some of the other bills they got, you know, it's very expensive for them. So, you know, I think they are starting to realize that they are probably fortunate to have what they have. I hope that's the case. I know there were several comments on the channel about the possibility that you know, they were starting the early stages of some kind of dementia. Well, that's a possibility, okay? And I guess if you do have the early stages of it, that you will like float in and out of reality, for lack of a better word. I don't know what word I want to use, but maybe you can help me out, you know, in the comments. So for the time being, they are staying put, which makes me kind of happy for now. I want them to have some kind of semblance of order, and you know, being that I'm going to be retired now, I'll be able to, you know, spend a little more time visiting. Currently, I visit 2 days a week, and I believe what I'm going to do now is increase that to 3 days a week. Probably like, you know, something like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, something like that. I'm not too sure what days I'm going to pick yet. So the third thing that I wanted to talk about, and this is probably the lengthy part of this video, and I'm going to probably have to break this up into chapters so you can, you know, go to the part you want to visit or what have you. But the third part about this is having to do with, are you secure, okay? Is your paperwork in order? You know, do you have all your arrangements done as a senior citizen? And do your parents have their arrangements done if you have senior parents like I do? That's kind of what I'm going to talk about in this third part of this video. So let me break it down into two parts. First, let's talk about me, and then let's talk about my parents or other people, okay, how we handle all this. So for me personally, okay, and a lot of this will carry over into your parents' planning, there's a couple things that I think that are important that you have or you do, okay? One of the things I suggest you do personally is you get on the internet and you search for, it's called I'm not too sure what it is. It's an important papers that senior citizens need to have, or something like that. Now, I looked this up for my state. I don't know if it's specific by state. And I looked this up for my state, and there was about 4 or 5 things that you should consider having as you get older in papers, okay? You have durable power of attorney, you have power of attorney, you have living wills, you have funeral arrangements and those kind of things, okay? And the list I found had about 8 different things on it, and I'll try to scan a copy of that in and put a post in the community section of the channel so you can kind of see what the state of Tennessee says. I don't want to be specific with you because your state might be different, so you might want to look this up by state. So, some of us as parents, I have children, okay? We need to consider our wills, okay? Now, my wife and I don't have wills yet, but we have talked about doing that. And basically, we only have 2 sons, and if both of us was to depart this earth together, then they would just split it between them. But if my wife dies first or I die first, then it goes to each spouse. And I guess you need to specify that in a will. I think Tennessee's a little bit different. Some states are really funny about probate, and you'll have to investigate that yourself for wherever you live. And I don't know about for the subscribers that live overseas how that's handled over there, okay? But having a will made out is kind of like the first step of having your papers in order, okay? And then, I think a living will, depending on what your wishes are, I think you need to have a living will set up where that is taken care of. And then also a durable power of attorney, for medical decisions, okay? You have a durable power of attorney for making medical decisions for me. Like if something was to happen to me, I'd want my wife to be my durable power of attorney. Now, it's going to be a lot different for parents, okay, for people you care for, okay, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. All these papers that you have, wills and power of attorneys and all that kind of stuff, you should put those in a safety deposit box, okay? I have a small safety deposit box, and I keep those papers in there, and we also have marriage certificates, birth certificates, anything important like that. Our home insurance policy, you need to keep that in there. If you own your property clear and free, you need to have your deed in there. These are all important papers. Titles to vehicles, anything that you might have at the house. I used to keep all that stuff at my house, and a couple of years ago I said, you know what, this is crazy, okay? If my house was to burn down, I would not have the papers I need to do what I need to do. So, a small safety deposit box is not very expensive. I have one, it costs me $15 a year at the bank. In addition to that, being I'm a photographer, I have a lot of photo files and stuff on my hard drive. So I will back those up on a yearly basis. And I have a little portable hard drive in my safety deposit box too, just in case I was to have a catastrophic loss at my house, okay, a fire or a flood or something like that, God forbid. Another good idea for you to do is you don't have to put this in a safety deposit box. I kind of mentioned all that stuff already, but another good idea for you to do personally is to have a list of prescriptions that you take at home. I know your doctor probably has a list of them, but it might help to have those at home. Make sure your wife has those in her phone or is stored in her phone or something. And I'll tell you why, okay? If something was to happen, you needed to go to the hospital, emergency room or whatever, that are the first questions they're going to ask you is what prescriptions do you take, when do you take them, and when was the last time you took them, okay? Well, it's best that each other have the list of prescriptions. My wife and I do not. We need to do that, okay? And making this video is gonna remind me to do that, okay? What I suggest you do is if you have a contact page for them in your phone, I know on my iPhone, my contact pages have a place for notes. You can put all kinds of notes in there. Previous surgeries, prescriptions they're taking currently, just anything like that would be important if you went to the hospital with them and they were to ask you a bunch of questions. I'm speaking from experience here because I have been with my mother and my father to the hospital on these occasions just like this, and they have asked that question. Well, I'm not over at their house all the time. I don't know what their doctor's prescribing them, but I have put their prescriptions in my phone. How often do you have to update them? Well, that just depends on how often they change medicines, okay? So I would say, every 6 months or so, you should revisit that list with them or with your spouse and make sure that you have the correct information in there in case they have to go to the hospital or you needed to act for them. Something else to help organize your life a little bit would be a paper calendar, okay? Something you can lay on your desk and write on. You can get these off of Amazon for like $5. I'll put a link in the description for one that I bought this year. Previously, I have had electronic calendar in my phone, okay? And it was a corporate package of Microsoft Office. Being that I'm going to retire, I'm going to lose access to that. So I decided that instead of futzing around with stuff, that I would just buy a paper map. My wife does that. She's used paper maps for years. The one I bought is like a spiral notebook. It kind of folds open. It's big. It's got big boxes you can write in. And you can use a highlighter to highlight different things. If you do use a highlighter to highlight different things, my suggestion is you use a pencil, not a pen or not a gel pen, to write your information in there, because when you do write over that with a highlighter, it will smear the ink, okay? I use a pencil, a number 2 pencil, to write it in, and if I want to highlight it, then it doesn't smear it, okay? So a paper calendar is a good thing to have around. You can put doctor appointments on there, meetings that you want to go to. I belong to a couple clubs, we have meetings. I do some Zoom meetings with people, so I put those in there. And just having one of those is handy. So now on this part of the video, I'm going to cover what you probably should have for your aging senior parents like me, okay? The subscribers know that my parents are 87 years old. We have the things that I'm going to mention here, we have done a long time ago, okay? My mother sat down and we done these things a long time ago with them, okay? I am the executor of their wills, okay? I am one of 7 children. I'm the oldest. I'm the one that lives near them here. The others do not live nearby. So I am the executor of their will, okay? The first thing they did several years ago was we put my name on their checking accounts, okay? On their accounts, all their accounts at the bank. I am listed as owner. Just having the signature capabilities on those accounts is not good enough, okay? You need to put yourself out on as owner, okay? And there's a lot of reasons for that. You can look that up on Google. I'm not going to get into the details of that, but it's a lot better if you're put on their accounts as a co-owner, if they trust you to do that, okay? The second thing that they did, and they made sure that I had a copy of, was they created some living wills, okay? And those are real simple to do. You can find the forms online. If your parents do not have living wills and their wishes are not to be artificially kept alive or resuscitated if something bad was to happen, or perform CPR, any of that kind of stuff, then they should have a living will, okay? I have a living will, and my parents both have living wills, and they need to make sure you, as an executor or responsible child, has a copy of those living wills, because if you do go to the hospital with them, that is a question they will ask you. Do you have a living will? Okay, all you got to do is say yes. You don't have to say anything else. You just got to say yes, okay? But you need to have a copy of that living will in case they want to put it on file with their records while they're in the hospital. As far as the living will goes, I would say that their doctors should be aware and have it in their records that they have a living will also. The third thing that I would do for them is, if they want you to make decisions for them if they're incapacitated, is get a durable power of attorney. Now, the durable power of attorney will allow you to make medical decisions for them, act on their behalf, and they don't have to be capacitated to have that, okay? What this is going to allow you to do is going to allow you to have access to their doctors. If there's something going on, you can contact their doctor, and they should be able to talk to you about things, since you are the durable power of attorney. One of the things about this particular form is it needs to be notarized, or at least in Tennessee it does. And my mom and dad did this a couple years ago. They thought the living will was good enough, but it was not, okay? We found out that they needed a durable power of attorney. And also, too, the durable power of attorney, which I spoke about in one of the funeral videos I did, will allow you to be the person that makes the funeral decisions, okay, based on what your parents requested or wanted, okay? So, like, if your parents want to be cremated and they have done all that, you know, they've told you all this, but they have not prearranged it, the durable power of attorney will allow you to make sure that is accomplished, okay? If they prearrange their funerals and pay for it, there's no questions asked what's going to happen, okay? That's what's going to happen. If they say we want to be cremated, nobody can dispute that. They will be cremated, okay? That is on the prearranged funerals. Another thing that I would make sure of with your parents is you have a copy of their Medicare card and any supplemental insurances or drug cards. It's very simple to do. You just shoot a picture with your phone, make a copy with your phone, keep it in your phone somewhere, stored in an album or whatever. That way, if something happens, you needed their Medicare number for something, and you were with them as a responsible person, you would have that information to give if they needed it, okay, without having to dig through their purse or personal belongings or anything else. I would make sure that I had copies of their supplemental policies, or at least the contact phone numbers and the policy numbers, okay? Sometimes you will have to help your parents access that information, and if they become forgetful or what have you in their mind, and they need your help, it would be good to have this ahead of time. And I went through this last weekend with my mother. She wanted to know why she paid for a doctor's visit, about $260, and we got on her, it took me a while because she couldn't remember to get onto her website for her supplemental plan, and I finally was able to access it for her, and we were looking at it to see, and she was having a hard time remembering anything about that. She keeps a password book at the house, but you know, sometimes you can't figure out what's in that password book. She's not got a very good organizational skill to her at all. Another good idea is to have their doctor's phone numbers, okay? And what doctor does what. My mom has about 3 or 4 different doctors she goes and visits. You know, her primary care, she has a heart doctor she visits, an orthopedic doctor she visits. So it's good to have those doctors' phone numbers, and to be able to call and find out and what the doctor does, so you know which doctor you might have to call, just in case they could not talk or make decisions for themselves, okay? I doubt that my dad knows this information, okay? I'm pretty sure my mom knows everything, but I doubt he keeps up with her information. So if you're a responsible child for them, I would suggest that you get that stuff in order also. Having a power of attorney is important. The power of attorney is different from durable power of attorney. Okay, you need to read up on both of those. I monitor their bank accounts, being that I am an owner. When I get onto my online banking, I can see their bank accounts, and I kind of monitor what they're doing a little bit. I don't want them to cause any harm to themselves, make any monumental mistakes, have their debit card pinched, or maybe write a check to some charitable organization. I think as people get older, they get more sensitive to charities. I know when my mother-in-law was living with us, we got a ton of junk mail every day from different charities trying to get money from her. And we would just shred them. We wouldn't even look at them. We just shred them. Of course, unless they put some money in there, sometimes we get some money out of them. Maybe a quarter in there or a dollar bill or something. But yeah, they would just bombard these senior citizens with requests for money. And you need to watch out for that. I know my mom gives to St. Jude's every year, and and that's fine. It's something she wants to do, and that's one of the reasons she does that. She says is because they send her a nice calendar every year. So that's nice, and she feels good about that. But it's not a great deal of money. But yeah, you want to watch for extraordinary or a lot of big transactions to happen all of a sudden. And it's a good idea. Being an owner on the accounts, you're able to look after the finance part of it too if something was to happen. I know when my mom was in rehab last year that I had to take over the bill paying. Most of their bills are on direct pay, so we don't have to worry about them writing checks. But there is a few of them that checks had to be written, like maybe a doctor bill, or like the tax bill on the property they live at, or the homeowners association fee, those kind of things. All their normal utilities are on direct pay. And that's something I suggest you get your parents set up on for budgeting, is to set as many things up on paperless direct pay as you can, okay? Their water bill, their gas bill, their telephone bill, the cable TV bill, all that stuff, set it up on direct pay where it comes straight out of their checking account, and you can just monitor it from there. And that way they don't have to worry about, did I pay my bills this month, okay? It's just one less thing for them to worry about and one less thing for you to worry about. Both of them, my parents are set up that way. I have them set up on direct pays, paperless. We don't need the paper copies. We got a checking account. We can monitor it from there. And the last thing I'm going to mention in this video that you should probably have copies of from your parents is a copy of their driver's license. Have that in your phone also. And just in case something was to happen, they would come up missing or something, or you would have that information. Also, what I've started doing, or what I've done in the past, and it really made me think about this, is they're getting ready to go on a trip to Florida. And as I was leaving the house to go home that evening, I took my phone out and took a picture of their license plate on their car. Yeah, see how many people think about that? So have a copy of their driver's license, have a copy of the tag on their car, and a description of their car, okay? Just in case they were to get out roaming around somewhere. My parents are still pretty mobile, okay? They still go places. And make sure that you have that kind of information that you could give to authorities. If something was to happen, they would come up missing, okay, or lost or whatever. So I know this was kind of a lengthy video, and I'm sorry for that, but I kind of just wanted to put all these thoughts down on one video, and maybe they will help you with your journey for your own personal life. Boy, sun's bright. With your own personal life, and helping with your parents' personal life. They all kind of blend together here, the things that I talked about in this video. You just have to figure out what's best for you and what's best for them and you, okay, when you're looking after them. Y'all be kind to yourself, love one another, enjoy the joy of the season. My name is Ron, and I will talk to y'all later. See ya. Bye-bye.